Okay friends, welcome to another Empty Mountain video upload. Now that we're back home. And so it's Sunday, February 23rd, and we just got home Wednesday, so just a few days ago. And it's Sunday morning. It's about 37 degrees, so it's warm for this time of year here in western Montana. It's actually raining a little bit right now, so over the next few days it's actually supposed to warm up into the 40s and maybe even to the low 50s, and continue to rain also, so there's some sort of like flood warnings because the snow might do a rapid melt sort of situation, and then warmer temperatures and rain, and so you know, some of that weather might take care of some of the snow here at Empty Mountain for us. But in any case, we're learning how to be here in the woods in the winter, and really enjoying being back home. And yeah, so I thought I would just kind of show you the cabin a little bit, and also kind of highlight a couple of other things, creative things we're doing. And you know, I have a particular interest also in just showing myself doing certain things, like because I think it's easy to just kind of think certain things are just like, you know, man tasks. You know, it's easy to default to be like, oh, that's a Mike thing, or you know, like, but I'm really interested in developing my strength and skill sets around living off grid and without running water, and you know, just empowering myself to do certain things, finding that balance, because I really love depending and relying on Mike for certain things also, and like I'm not interested in not doing that, you know, and finding it's great to balance division of labor and all of that good stuff. But I also just don't want to always be defaulting to like, oh, that's a Mike thing. So I like showing like what I'm doing also to just develop skills and strengths, and like finding new creative ways to do stuff. You know, being shorter and less strong, and real things. And so one of the things I'm doing right now, so Mike is asleep. He and I have very different sleep schedules, and I have a lot of energy in the morning. So I'm capitalizing on that energy by figuring out a creative way to get the water that we collected in Missoula yesterday. So we went to town yesterday to Missoula, it's about an hour away, to attend an open mic night with my Sangha, which was lovely. We filled up potable water. We haul our potable water from town. And because we're not able to drive in to the cabin yet because of snow, the van is parked up here on the road, and we have a trail down to the cabin. And so we have a lot of water to get from the van down to the cabin. And my first thought was like, I'll wait till Mike gets up, because he can probably just carry these containers down. Like, these are too heavy for me. Our containers are, we have a couple one that's 5 gallon, one that's 6 gallon, and 2 of them that are 7 gallon containers. And so they're too heavy for me to schlep down the trail. So I'm like, okay, but wait, maybe Nicole wants to find a way that Nicole can do this job without having to rely on Mike, just to find a creative way to do it. So right now what I'm doing, so these are our containers that we filled with water. This is a 7 gallon, I think that's a 6, oh, I think that's 5.5. So we have a few different sizes. So I'm using our siphon pump, just hand pump, into this empty container. And I figure if I can make this, you know, I can put some of that in there and maybe be able to carry both of these down. They just won't be as heavy, you know, they'll be half full. So that's my creative solution there. We'll see how that goes, but I'll take you down here to the cabin to check that out. Usually the Ollie Mobile, Ollister, Ollie for short, that's the name of the van. Usually Ollie is not our daily driver, but because our car and our truck are buried in ice and snow under a tarp right now out here, we're gonna have to wait a little bit to dig them out and get them out. So we're using the van. So here's we wound up just stomping a path down versus shoveling it. You know, we're trying to, you know, not have to shovel everything. So this has been working just over time. We're just making a trail down to the cabin. This is where our generator gets set up for charging up our house batteries. Because this time of year and for a little while we're not going to get, we'll get a little bit of sun to charge through the solar panels. We had a little bit of sun yesterday, but it's pretty gray around these parts this time of year, so we're not going to get a whole lot sun-wise to fill our batteries. So definitely the generator is an important member of Team Empty Mountain. So as you can see, we have a good amount of snow. In some spots, like the drift is, you know, I can go up to my knees. So right now I'm collecting some rainwater coming down from the roof gutters. We don't want to fill these. We emptied these before we left, so these are empty, both of them. We don't want to put water in them quite yet, because if it freezes, then this will just be a chunk of ice. Will take a long time to thaw, so right now we're just kind of collecting water as we go. I've also been shoveling snow into a bucket and bringing it inside the cabin to melt, which you know, is working, but it's not super efficient, because like I fill a 5-gallon bucket of snow, bring it inside the cabin. It takes, you know, 15 to 20 hours for it to melt, and then it's less than a third of the bucket that it yields, so it's just not very much. But we are doing that, you know, so it is working. It's just slow, and we're using the snow water, and we'll use the rainwater we're collecting in the buckets for our pump sink inside, which we use for hand washing and dishwashing. So that's not water that we use to drink or cook with. We haul that from town, but so we do have the solar panels up and going. Obviously there's no moving it around right now because it's in the snow, but we get, you know, when the sun comes up, you know, and it's actually visible, you know, we get a little bit of draw. This porch just continues to be amazing. Everything looked exactly like we left it when we got back. This was a creative solution we came up with to fetch firewood, which is stored over there, and sled it over here. So I attached this and I filled it up, and then I just pulled it over here. Works super good. Right now also, we did this last year and it worked pretty well. So we don't have a whole lot of electricity draw inside the cabin. We have a small fridge, and that's our biggest draw. But this time of year, and probably for another at least month, maybe 2 months, we can use the outside as a fridge for storing food. So last year we stored our food outside in just a cooler, anything that needed to be refrigerated, and that worked really well. And then we don't have to plug in the small fridge inside, and you know, we just use less electricity. So right now our refrigerator is this red bucket, and it's working very well right now. Hopefully it continues to be pretty critter proof. There's not a whole lot of critters out right now. But so we're using the outside for storage of food, and right now we're slated to be, it's not supposed to be less than like 30 degrees as a low for the next little while here. So that's relatively warm for here. So I think we'll be able to keep the food outside without it freezing. And it's actually like a perfect temperature. So so we're gonna see how long we can use the outside as a refrigerator before plugging in the fridge inside. And what else? I think you know, we're just kind of continuing to learn. You know, we've got our these canisters operate our stove inside. We're just continuing to learn different systems and different ways to be out here. This is one of our loo buckets. We have our outhouse over there, which is also a thing, but that one's nice to have close by, especially in the snow. And let's go over and check out the Humanor situation. So yeah, this will be one thing that'll be interesting. We haven't really been out here to the point where like our loo buckets, once they fill up, will likely freeze. So these are full. And so loading, this is our Humanor pile for putting our loo buckets in when they're full. And then we cover it with straw. And we're gonna, as you can see, it's getting pretty full. We're gonna need to make a new bin this year. But loading this with frozen buckets, this is a new adventure. So we might just have to wait until the temperature is such where these start thawing out. We might just have to get more buckets. That's one idea. So we'll see how that goes. This is what remains of our sawdust that we put inside the loo buckets. As we're using them. And I recently added more stuff in here. This is our, what I sometimes call our inspirational outhouse. Because there's just so much, there's so much to look at. There's so much inspiration in here. But I always like having places to hang cards and just like uplifting, nourishing sayings. And so this is a combination of cards that we've been sent and gifted by friends and family. In addition to some of my own stuff. So it says, "Are you sure of your perceptions?" And so I recently counted, and there's 75 different cards and situations that I've hung and posted, and I think there's 36 different people represented. So like, of people who have given us the cards and stuff, and some of the cards are a repeat. Like some people have given us more than one card that I've hung up. So when I look at this, not only like are the sayings and the cards like themselves, like the pictures for me nourishing and enlivening, but I also like feel and see the people who gave us these things. And so I really like having the people around me that I love and adore. And so this is a place where I can display those things and other people can enjoy them when they come in. This is one of my new favorite cards that my dear friend Remy sent. Young child I used to nanny for. And so, yeah, I think 36 different people are represented in these cards. So when I see them, yeah, I feel the love of those people. So yeah, inspirational outhouse. It's doing it. Okay. And her friend Sarah painted that. Love it. Okay, so it's sort of the empty mountain tour in the snow right now. I take you inside the cabin, but Mike's asleep and I don't want to wake him up, so we'll do a inside the cabin video maybe next. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all later.